Thanks, Baked. When we completed our last Bakeline about Vince Nicotra and Chris Hansen, I was over the entire subject. It was clear that Chris Hansen was a scammer deadbeat who was never going to make good on his promise for new investigations, and Vince is an untalented lackey who doxed me because he didn't like the negative comments I made about his website development. You remember, right? This site? There was no point in continuing going back and forth, and the situation was dropped by all parties involved. Chris moved on to whatever this is.
You were telling me yesterday about a website called LOL Cow.
Oh, yeah.
While making some lame-ass excuse for why he was no longer discussing predators.
The people at YouTube have banned a long list of words from use on YouTube channels, including the word predator. I can't say the whole word because I might get into trouble.
And Lauren returned to his rightful home, making Chris irrelevant to TCAPist. That's why when a member of the community sent me the new videos that Vent Interactive Media had dropped, they had two words for me. Have you seen this shit? Now, I usually try and come up with a clever name for the Bakeline segments to separate them just a bit. There was Hansel and Metal, Convinced, and the most recent, Creeper by the Dozen.
I am in the final stages of building a do-it-yourself website builder.
But for this one, there was only one title that would actually work.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop fucking lying.
Vince, let's just cut to the chase. You and I both know you didn't build this site, and the fact that you are pretending you did while your wife nods her head enthusiastically is embarrassing for all parties involved. I mean, just look at the video you made debuting your brand new site. You have the homepage dragged to the bottom right corner of your screen because of an empty space here on the header that you can't figure out how to fix because you didn't build this site at all. It's a cheap script you purchased and uploaded. Before I talk more about this script you are attempting to pass off as your own custom work, let's talk about how I found out this was a script. And I'm doing this, Vince, since one of the reasons you gave me for doxing me back in August was that my criticism was destructive versus constructive, and I assume you are trying to figure out how to properly con people like your overlord and hero Chris Hansen. At any rate, Vince, you said that this site just launched, and I'm sure if pressed, you would say you've been working on it for a year or so, since that is the same lie you said about prostreams.live. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to prostreams in just a minute. When I checked the whois of xsbuilder.com, I see the site was registered on November 17th, 2019, which is a clue, but a minimal clue at best. So here's what I did, Vince, and pay attention because it took me all of 45 seconds to figure out your scam. I went to your support page, and I saw release notes and patches dating all the way back to 2017. So now it was just a simple matter of doing this, a copy and paste into Google, and guess what came up? Holy shit. Did you get this script for $37 on Code Canyon? Let me get this straight. You purchased this script for less than $40, uploaded it in a few minutes, told everyone you built it 100% in-house.
Building a do-it-yourself website builder. Do-it-yourself website builder.
And then you have the nerve to charge people between $15 and $70 per month for this? If just one person buys this annual package at $150, you've made all of your money back plus over $100 in profit. Are you trolling us with this name? Is it excess builder because of your excess pricing? Or is it the excess of ego that went into dreaming up this brain-dead scheme? Call me a cynic, but it looks to me like you are trying to piggyback off your work with Chris Hansen to pose yourself as an expert and rip people off, and I think that's BS. Speaking of BS, you should check out the website bsbuilder.com. Now, BS can stand for Bakeline supported, or bullshit, it doesn't really matter, but what does matter is this. I purchased and uploaded the exact same $37 script you did, only I am letting people build their own website 100% for free. I don't want their money. I think these websites are garbage to begin with, but if someone wants to build their own garbage website, they shouldn't be overcharged for the right to do it on a questionable platform. Do it free at bsbuilder.com. Build your stupid trash website 100% free at bsbuilder.com. Tell a friend, tell your mama. Vince, I don't want to give you the impression that there's anything wrong with using a script or a white label site. There is nothing illegal or immoral about that, but here's the thing, you are lying. You are taking a script that someone else built, put hundreds if not thousands of hours in developing, customizing, testing, and then launching and claiming it as your own while you and your wife pat each other on the back for your genius idea. You can prove me wrong. Since you claimed you built this and will be releasing features for it weekly, I would love to see the upcoming features you have planned for it. Can I talk to your PHP guy? Nope, because there is no PHP guy. And just so you are aware, the original company who built this script no longer appears to be supporting it, and there are lots of complaints about website responsiveness and dozens of other issues with this script, aren't there, Vince? Here's my final issue with XS Builder. You call yourself a web designer and promise that your designs are so hot they will melt my screen. And when I spoke openly about your poor web dev skills early on, you always had an excuse. You told Baked and I during our interview that you had built a beautiful website for Chris Hansen when he came back in April 2019, but he vetoed it in favor of this.
I mean, for Chris Hansen to give it his seal of approval, it has to have something, right? You know?
Chris Hansen knows quality? Let's look at some of the things that Chris has approved over the last 12 months and put that statement to the test.
After all of this shit was happening, Vince messaged me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of a PR stunt. The PR stunt being that I would make a video claiming that Chris Hansen issued me a strike. And not only was I fucking angry to see this text, but I was also just confused. Why would you want that? He told me because he basically doesn't believe in bad publicity.
You uploaded the default template for this site and did not make one change. You didn't fix a pixel. Every typo, every error and duplication issue was kept right in. Who do you blame now, Vince? Your name is the one proudly displayed across the top here, and as you say in your video, you built this.
I am in the final stages of building a do-it-yourself website builder.
Please believe me. Please believe me.
Are you really okay saying this with such glaring typos right there on the front page? How dare you try and advise people on design or sell anything involving website building services when you yourself are so incompetent as a web designer, you can't even build your own trash website to sell these janky trash websites. People like you give the digital marketing industry a bad name and are the reason that 90% of work is being outsourced overseas.
They took our job!
And Vince, before you try some retroactive backpedaling and say this is just a temporary page or a placeholder, you launched this website in mid-December 2019. It's been several weeks and none of this has changed at all. This isn't beta either. This is the finalized version of the site that you either didn't proofread or can't proofread.
He's an illiterate janitor.
And then, of course, there is this comment from when a Mr. Malik Washington asked if the site was in fact built by you. Your response? Malik Washington, thank you. It's all built in-house. The product is ready for users to create and monetize. Nothing is ever final. We will be adding new features weekly. Vince, that video was uploaded 3 weeks ago and not one feature has been added to that site. As far as building in-house, it may have been built in a house, but it certainly wasn't your house. Are you Christopher Columbus now, discovering a script that was released in fucking 2015, spending a few minutes uploading it, and then sticking a flag in it and claiming it as your own? It's a script, Vince. Just offer the service. Say it's being launched in partnership with Venn Interactive Scamming. Oops, Venn Interactive Media, but you don't lie about it. The only thing worse than a scammer is a lazy scammer, and this is about some of the laziest shit I've ever seen.
LOL cow.
Speaking of lazy bullshit, let's move on to prostreams.live, the other site that Vince has built in-house and supposedly also has the backing of Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen actually loves it, and he's made a channel on that, and eventually he wants to put all of his shows on ProStreams.
Sorry to disappoint, but this is also a script. Not something he built in-house, not something he has been working on for a year.
Platform. I know it's a brand new platform, guys. It's brand new. I just released it Sunday. I've been working on it for over a year.
Why the fuck you lying?
Nope, he hasn't done any work on this one at all either, have you, Vince? Surprise! It is yet another lie. Proof? Sure. Here is prostreams.live, and here is the demo for avideo.com. It's a script. Notice any similarities? Probably because once again, Mr. Web Designer made 0 changes to the default script he downloaded. Just to ease your minds, however, Vince did not pay $40 for this script.
Oh no, not by a long shot.
Because this script was 100% free on GitHub. Yes, free. The website that Vince boldly claims he has been developing for the last year was actually downloaded from a company that has been in existence since 1996. This is either an incredible coincidence or Vince owes a lot of people apologies. Probably starting with this guy. Now stick around because this is where things go from immoral to illegal. And our boy Vinny dragged his boss Chris Hansen into it, and the last thing that guy needs is another lawsuit. Now the first thing I want to point out on this ProStreams website is the copyright notice under the DMCA section of the website. It reads in part, warning, any person who knowingly, materially misrepresents that material or activity is infringing may be subject to liability or damages. Do not make false claims of copyright infringement. It then lists a number of rules that must be followed in order to make a proper claim of infringement before closing with this gem. Failure to submit copyright infringement notifications as described above will result in no action on behalf of ProStreams. Vince, am I glad you said that? You see, I was a bit concerned after you copyright struck all the videos on BakedSalmons channel a few months back that you would immediately reach into your Chris Hansen bag of tricks and claim this video as well. Oh, Vince, don't do that. Because you see, this video has a built-in Doomsday Device. More on that later. So funny enough, it was this copyright notice that actually led me to the original script for your site. There are so many video broadcast network scripts out there that it was almost impossible to find the exact script that you used to build yours. But every time I looked up an article or text from ProStreams, I kept getting this page in the results. Like this article on monetization that Vince claimed he wrote in November.
Okay. We could go to channel monetization. And I wrote up an article here. Here's a small list of ad networks for publishers. You got AdSense, AdCash.
He directly copied from this website who published it 9 months earlier. Hey, wait a minute. Almost all of the text on this site is copied from this site. So it looks like Vince just did a simple copy and paste and replaced every occurrence with JoshWhoTV with ProStreams. How do I know? Okay, Vince, get your pen because here comes some more of that constructive criticism you so crave and respect. Tip 1 was the who is information on each site. JoshWhoTV is older than ProStreams by 10 months. It only makes sense that the older site publish the content first unless they somehow got a hold of a DeLorean and working flux capacitor on eBay. Tip number 2, On the article you supposedly wrote, you obviously had no idea what you were talking about. I am familiar with each and every one of those ad networks, and most of them do not provide a code to auto-populate ads, which the script you downloaded requires in order to display ads. But like you told me before, you aren't the marketing guy, you're the web designer. Oh shit. What do you do? Tip number 3. Let's just call this one the smoking gun. It seems that copy and replace job you did missed one, because here on the FAQs under monetization, again, the same article that Vince claims he wrote on video,
and I wrote up an article here,
we see that he forgot to remove one email link directly to JoshWhoTV.com. That's not a coincidence. It's just plain old lazy plagiarism.
LOL cow.
This guy has Bill Gates aspirations and Bill Dauterive intellect. Oh, and that app Vince was promising? That's another GitHub free script that Vince will pass off as something he and his team have been diligently working on. It's fine to use the script, but to try and pass it off as a unique property you built from the ground up is laughable. Okay Vince, so after spending an hour or so trying to find the script you used, I finally emailed JoshWhoTV using the email address you provided on your own site, and I asked him what script he was using. He asked why, and we ended up having a back and forth conversation. Let me just tell you, he was very, very interested in the fact that a corporate website, seemingly endorsed by former human Chris Hansen, was ripping off his creative content. This is something he is familiar with, as it has happened to him before, so he sent me this article he found while researching the site that had ripped off his previous content. Copyright laws protect creative and intellectual property from those who would steal it. The rights to a creative work exist automatically from the moment of creation, meaning as soon as he hit save and publish to the web, this was 100% his copywritten text and content. Copyright gives the holders the exclusive rights to use, copy, transmit, or modify their original content, meaning only he had the right to do that, Vince, not you. It's all right here in the footer of the website, Vince. This copyright notice prohibits others from duplicating the images, text, or other creative elements on the site. All of them. Now, from what I understand, it's often hard to prove intent or knowledge of crime when handling a case like this involving intellectual theft, but you made 3 huge rookie mistakes. Thing 1, you copied text for a commercial site. It would have cost you under $100 to hire someone to write original content, but you took the lazy way out once again. Lawyers love when a corporate site does something stupid like this because it gives them something and someone to attack. The endorsement of Chris Hansen only adds to the fun. Nice. Thing 2, you created video fucking evidence of it. You said on your own video created to promote this site that you wrote this article. So you clearly did not accidentally copy this content. You did it on purpose and then claimed it for your own, with proof. Oops.
Oops.
That's right. Oops, he's done it again.
Thing 3, you left his email address in your actual site text. This proves that you didn't just find the content somewhere on cyberspace and assume it was free use, and confirms it was just a copy and paste job direct from the victim's site. It also backs up the laziness angle I've been pushing during this entire segment. Look, I understand that quality control and double checking are foreign concepts to you, but I am surprised at this level of ineptitude. You could delete all of this text today, and technically it wouldn't matter because there is a 3-year civil statute of limitations on copyright infringement and 5 years for federal cases. Not only that, but it exists forever in the Wayback Machine. On this video, hell, even the video you made yourself. Although imposing a self-generated cease and desist and getting rid of all that stolen content would probably be a good idea, but why would you listen to me? I recommend you reach out to the guy at JoshWhoTV because he's waiting to hear from you and he has a lot of questions. All that aside, to anyone who's considering joining ProStreams, you will want to ask these questions and get proof of all of them. What are their technical specs? If videos lag, take forever to load, or buffer constantly, how many people do you think will stay on site? Also, what is their marketing budget? People with much bigger brains and much deeper pockets than Vince have tried and failed to compete with YouTube. If there is no plan and budget, then how does the site plan on getting traffic to the site and people actually viewing those ads? And then ask yourself one final thing. Would you trust someone with your creative property when they are clearly ready and willing to take credit for the hard work others have put into it? A guy who will lie to your face about working and developing this site for over a year while literally copying and pasting lines about copyright infringement. I know I wouldn't. Now, about that Doomsday Device I mentioned earlier. Vince, we are going to give you a chance to put your money where your mouth is. This video will be uploaded to YouTube, JoshWhoTV, and prostreams. The site you claimed will be an open platform free of the censorship and authoritative rule that has become a hallmark of YouTube. Should you decide to go against your own copyright policy that you stole from this guy, then this video will turn into a fucking hydra. Each one you strike down will make 3 more pop back up. I actually belong to a legit video distribution network through my job, and it will be no trouble at all getting this one added to the queue. Wide-scale API distribution to auto-populating websites, interstitial YouTube ads, bad link redirects to video-hosted landing pages. You get the idea. It'll be out there. Before that though, Vince, I just want to let you know that none of this is about anger, because I'm not mad at you at all. I haven't spent a dime on Chris Hansen merch, and after the travesty of a website you launched, I wouldn't dare support anything you had your name on because, well, your work is trash. Ever since you guys came on the scene, and then this showed up, and this showed up, and this showed up, before I knew it, you had provided more Bakeline content than anyone, and of course it was you yourself that inspired this series in the first place. So keep doing what you're doing, because as long as you insist on being a public lolcow,
LOL cow,
Bakeline will be there to report our findings. I'm sure I don't need to tell you what to do though. I bet you probably have a yellow legal pad just full of bad ideas. So I would suggest you scratch these 2 off your list and move on to whatever's next. Ooh, maybe Sensi parties or a LuLaRoe consultancy. You can say you invented both or either. Janice will bobblehead nod obediently next to you while the cameras roll and you can both believe that you have everyone fooled. But you don't. Speaking of bad ideas, doxing me again would be a really bad one. As I let you know back in August, I am in New York 3 times in 2020 for conferences, and I am not against meeting you for a one-on-one dialogue to discuss the pros and cons of behaving like an adult online. And that's not a threat, it's a bona fide ironclad guarantee. Don't be that guy. If you have some shit to say to me, say it. But do it like the 40-year-old man you claim to be, and not the 13-year-old internet tough guy you like to portray, mad because he didn't get invited to the party.
Boy, a guy can sure get messed up patting himself on the back.
Hey! Hey! One more time! Hey!
Boy, a guy can sure get messed up patting himself on the back.
And speaking of parties, before I go, I want to thank today's sponsor, Cotstock2020.club. If you have never been to a 50th birthday party for a convicted sexual predator on lifetime supervised probation, get this one off your bucket list now. Where will you be October 18th, 2020? Bring your kids to Cornville, Maine and join me, Wes Mose, Baked Salmon, the stars of YouTube, and celebrities, as we celebrate Codstock 2020. Bring your kids and enjoy food, games, entertainment, milk and cookie parties, and for the first time since the Civil War, a legally binding child auction. Bring your kids and let them take center stage in the Chuck Harding Children's Petting Zoo, where full-grown adults pet, hold, and feed real live children.
Well, I see nothing wrong with cuddling and caressing.
Neither do we, Chuck. Neither do we. Don't wait, because these designer shirts, courtesy of Clobber Holler Inc., are hotter than Ma's chicken pie. And these tickets are moving faster than Lauren's truck after a drunken night of debauchery with Farmer. Hold on, am I really supposed to read this last part? Bring your kids, bring your kids. For the love of all that is holy, bring your fucking kids. That's Codstock2020.club.
No, wait a minute.
That's right, Dan Allen.